Now then, Peter, I'm going to take these two essays together because the things that you do in them, you do in both essays. First of all, you don't need to be. I mean, your instructions, by the way, have massively improved. You can see I've written brilliant after that one. You've obviously read the page that I suggested that you read, and you've made a judgment, and you've indicated your paragraph subtopics. Absolutely fantastic. The only thing I would say is don't write "I agree that" or "I believe that." Just say the military strength of the Normans was by far. You need to hammer home that point, make yourself sound completely sure, and there's no need to write "I will explore how far these countries." We know what you're going to do. There's no need to put that. It's a waste of ink, or in this case, typing. Point over this side to consider in your instructions. If you said that Edward the Exile is Edward the Confessor's brother, it's not his brother. It's a distant relative. So yeah, you don't go on to repeat that actually through the essay, but it's wrong. So he's a distant relative. And again, you've got "I believe" in there, but you don't write that. Just first of all, Edward the Confessor was not to blame for a succession, or for the succession dispute, it should say, not "ah." And I've written, better to write, one factor that contributed to the succession crisis was the fact that Edward did not produce an heir, and in this he cannot be blamed. Because here, you've said, first of all, I believe that Edward the Confessor was not to blame for the succession dispute because he didn't produce an heir. In essence, here, you've written off everything to do with the succession crisis. You're saying, I mean, this is what this sentence means. Edward is not to blame because he didn't produce an heir. It's a bit simplistic. You need to say, on account of the fact that he didn't produce an heir, he can't be blamed for that. But there might be other things that you do go on to perhaps suggest he might be blamed, or analyse other reasons why he can't be blamed. You can't just write off the whole thing based on one point. So I'll give you another example. Now, in both essays, what you've done is you've started every subtopic paragraph absolutely judging against the question, including the key words. You've got that focus. What we're missing is the judgment at the end. So again, if you go onto the website, read how to structure a paragraph, what you need to do is focus on the question at the start and at the end of every paragraph. And indeed, in fact, if you look at some of the other essays that Charlie and Joe have done, you might see some examples of it there, as well as in the examples that I wrote for you after SPM3. You must always put your judgment at the start, you've got that, and you need to put your judgment at the end of the paragraph with all your knowledge in between in the middle. And again, down here on this essay, you've written, I don't believe that. Just put, Edward was indecisive, but he created confusion over the succession to manipulate William of Normandy. Or you would say Edward the Confessor might have appeared indecisive, but that wasn't the case. He purposefully created the confusion. You don't want to be like, I don't believe that. Get rid of the I. Shouldn't appear in history essay. And this just doesn't make sense, really. What I think you're supposed to be putting a question in it. I think it should be, was Edward to blame for a power vacuum and the succession dispute? Question mark. No, his inability to have children. Well, I wouldn't put questions in an answer. You would just say Edward was not to blame for the power vacuum and succession dispute because his inability to have children and his own early death are not things that he could have controlled. So you go on it that way. So don't write a question in. But both essays, I mean, the key thing you've now got to improve, it's the last kind of piece in the jigsaw, really, and then you've got it, is you have your judgments at the start, judgments at the end, and cut out the I business. And as I said, they're very focused again, just missing judgments at the end of paragraphs. We're pretty much in B grade territory here. And this applies to both essays. There's only one questionable paragraph, which is in here, where you say another reason why the Norman victory, the military strength of the Normans led to victory, was the collapse of the shield wall. That suggesting the shield wall collapse is the reason why the Normans won. Well, yeah, okay. When it collapsed, that was the victory, but it isn't really a reason why they lost. It's more the moment at which the Saxons did lose, rather than the reason why they lost. So I would have cut that paragraph out altogether. But apart from that, excellent. We're heading in the right direction. Top effort. Keep it going. Keep up the good work. Well done. Right. Just find out how to stop this recording. There we go. Have a nice Easter.